Pompeii, a city of beauty, laughter, and life. But in a single day, the sky turned to fire, the sun disappeared, and 20,000 souls faced a nightmare no one could escape. This is the true story of the day an entire city vanished. In the heart of the Roman Empire, by the sparkling Bay of Naples, there once stood a city unlike any other, Pompeii, a jewel of Rome, a place where life seemed eternal. Marble villas, colorful frescoes, bubbling fountains, and lively marketplaces gave Pompeii a beauty that made it famous across the empire. Children played in the narrow streets, merchants shouted their prices in the busy markets, and laughter echoed in the grand theaters. By day, Pompeii was alive with trade, music, and festivals. By night, oil lamps glowed, gladiators trained for their next battles, and lovers whispered in secret gardens. Pompeii was a dream. But behind this dream, watching silently, stood a giant, Mount Vesuvius. The people thought of it only as a mountain, a guardian, a silent protector. They never realized that this protector was actually a sleeping monster.
Frescoes, wall paintings made on fresh plaster. Eternal, lasting forever, never ending. Guardian, someone or something that protects.
The year was 79 AD. Nearly 20,000 people lived in Pompeii. Life here was luxurious compared to many Roman cities. Rich families built houses decorated with mosaics, tiny colored stone forming pictures of gods, myths, and daily life. Taverns offered wine. Bakeries baked bread in stone ovens, and public bathhouses gave everyone, rich and poor, a chance to relax. For most, it was a paradise. Yet beneath this paradise, danger was rising. 17 years earlier, in 62 AD, an earthquake had shaken the city violently. Walls cracked, temples crumbled, statues fell. Many rebuilt their homes, repainting walls, restoring fountains. They thought the earth had simply groaned and would now rest. But in truth, that earthquake was the first warning, a whisper from the giant mountain.
Mosaics, pictures made from small colored stones or glass. Paradise, a perfect, wonderful place. Whisper, a very soft, quiet sound, like a secret.
The people ignored the warning. They celebrated their festivals, watched gladiator games, and prayed to the gods for health and fortune. Life returned to normal, or so it seemed. But Vesuvius was not asleep anymore. Strange signs began to appear. Small tremors shook the ground again. Wells dried up. Animals became restless. Even the sea around the bay shifted strangely. But still, the people continued their lives. They trusted in their city, in their gods, and in their empire. Then came the morning of August 24th, 79 AD, the day history would never forget. The sun rose bright over the Bay of Naples. Fishermen prepared their nets. Bakers pulled fresh bread from their ovens, and children ran to play in the warm streets. Mothers carried water from fountains. Men traded goods in the market, and life seemed as normal as ever. But destiny was waiting just a few hours away.
Tremors, small shakes of the ground, like tiny earthquakes. Restless, unable to stay calm, uneasy. Destiny, something that is meant to happen, a future that cannot be avoided.
Just before midday, the ground shook violently. A roar echoed from the mountain, louder than thunder, deeper than anything they had ever heard. Pompeians looked up and froze in terror. From the top of Mount Vesuvius, a tower of smoke, fire, and ash shot into the sky. It rose higher and higher, like a giant black pine tree stretching into the heavens. The Roman historian Pliny the Younger, who watched from across the bay, would later write about this moment, the moment when the sky itself turned into fire. Panic spread. Horses screamed. Dogs barked wildly. People clutched their children. Some ran to the sea. Others rushed into temples to pray. The air filled with ash that fell like black snow, covering hair, clothes, and streets. Daylight was stolen. In just minutes, the sun vanished, and the world turned into night.
Roar, a loud, deep sound, like a lion, or in this case, an exploding mountain. Terror, extreme fear. Ash, the gray powder left after something burns.
The eruption grew worse. Burning stones and pumice rained from the sky, smashing rooftops, crushing anyone who couldn't escape in time. Streets filled with falling debris. People struggled to breathe. The air was thick with smoke and poisonous gas. Some tried to flee through the city gates, but the roads were packed with panicked crowds. Mothers screamed for their children. Fathers carried what little treasure they could. Some people prayed to Jupiter, Apollo, and Venus. Others hid in basements, believing stone walls could protect them. But there was no safety. In one villa, archaeologists later discovered a group of people huddled together, arms wrapped around each other in a final embrace. They believed love could shield them. But love could not stop fire and ash. Hours passed, and as the sun sank behind the ash cloud, the first deadly pyroclastic surges began to form, a wall of fire and toxic gas preparing to roll down the mountain. The people of Pompeii had no idea. They thought the worst had already come. They were wrong.
Debris, broken pieces of buildings or objects. Embrace, holding someone closely in your arms. Pyroclastic surge, a fast, deadly flow of hot gas, ash, and rocks from a volcano.
Night fell. But it was no ordinary night. The stars were gone, the moon invisible. The city lay under a sky of fire and ash. People lit torches, but the flames barely pierced the choking darkness. Every breath was a battle. Every step was a gamble. Mothers whispered lullabies to calm their terrified children. Old men prayed, their voices shaking. Some still believed dawn would come, that the gods would save them. But dawn would not bring salvation. It would bring destruction. This was only the beginning.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and share. And subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos.